Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to the fourth webinar in the Tech and Textiles series, Search Engine Marketing Simplified. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and I'd also like to thank the TRSA for sponsoring and promoting this webinar series. My name is Emily, and I work at UniformMarket. The topic of today's webinar is search engine marketing, and although most of you probably work in the uniform or rental laundry industries, the topics that we discuss are really applicable to any industry or even, any personal websites. So just so you know, during this webinar, you'll be able to hear me speaking, but I won't be able to hear you. So if you think of any questions during this presentation, just enter them into the question section of the GoToWebinar window, and at the end of the presentation, we will answer any of those questions for you. So today we're going to be discussing search engine marketing, and our topics will include what search engine optimization or search engine marketing is and why it's important. Two things to keep in mind when you're approaching search engine marketing: how to optimize your site so that it's easy for users to navigate and for search engines to crawl, and also how to create legitimate backlinks for your site. And again, I'll also answer any questions that you may have. So to start out, I think it's important to have a really good understanding of why search engines are in existence, why they're in business, and I'd like to share a quote with you to start out, and also a number. The quote comes from Larry Page. He's a co-founder and CEO of Google, and he once said that the perfect search engine is one that understands exactly what you mean and gives you back exactly what you want. And Google's also in business to make money, obviously. Google is a $192 billion company, and 99% of Google's income comes from advertising revenues. They have pay-per-click advertising, so businesses pay to have their ads placed through Google, and every time somebody clicks one of those ads, the businesses pay Google. And so 99% of this $192 billion company comes from those revenues. So obviously that's very important to them, and in order to make that money, they have to provide a service that people will want to use, because if they do, people will be more likely to click on the ads. If Google returns useless search results to users, they'll lose those users and therefore that revenue stream. So that's an important thought to keep in mind as we go along, and it's something that a lot of people forget when they're approaching search engine marketing. But keep that in mind as we go through the steps today. Before we get into actual search engine marketing or optimization strategies, it's also important to have an understanding of how search engines work. And obviously, we're not going to learn about Google's algorithm. It's very complex, very complicated, and it's also kept secret. But it's good to have a general idea of the main functions of search engines. And just as a side note, I'll be using the word Google and search engines kind of interchangeably. Google is by far the most popular search engine, so I think it's the most important one to focus on when you are approaching search engine marketing. So anyways, search engines have 4 functions. They crawl, index, rank, and respond, and I will just briefly explain each. First, they crawl the web, meaning that they use automated robots. They're also referred to as spiders or crawlers. You may have heard of the Google bot. And these automated robots browse the internet, and they get from page to page via links. And they index, the search engines index what the crawlers find on these pages, and they store the information in massive data centers all over the world. Then search engine algorithms rank the pages using hundreds of different criteria. And you may be familiar with some of these criteria, backlinks, relevance, importance, you may have heard kind of thrown around. But there are hundreds of them, so it's important to keep that in mind and not focus too heavily on just one thing. But we will get to that in a little bit. The fourth thing they do is respond to search queries with the most relevant results possible. And again, search engines aren't perfect, and they don't always return the most perfect results for your query, but they are constantly updating their algorithm. Google updates their algorithm weekly. So it's constantly becoming more intelligent, and they're always striving towards that goal that I shared with you, that quote from Larry Page, that they are always striving to return more perfect results, more closer to what you want, what you were thinking of when you entered the search query. So now that we know a little bit about how search engines kind of function at a basic level, it's worth kind of noting how people use search engines. Here are a couple of statistics for you. First, almost 50% of people online use search engines on a typical day, and this number is increasing rapidly, especially now with people using smartphones and people wanting instant access to information that they're looking for. More and more people are using search engines every day, multiple times a day. And another interesting fact is that 97% of consumers search for local businesses online. People are using, the online search more than traditional resources like the Yellow Pages and the newspaper. They're using, Google search also more often than, let's say, an online Yellow Pages search. And again, with smartphones, people, they're Googling local businesses on the fly, after work, on their way home. They're, finding stores or restaurants that they want to go to. So people are constantly searching for local businesses. Third, 80% of people research products and services online and then go on to purchase them locally. So if you run a small uniform store and you're feeling discouraged, having to compete with huge online retailers like Amazon that can maybe afford to offer lower prices than you can, this is really good news for you, because people still do want to buy things locally. They just want to do a little research first, maybe read some online reviews about products, see what other people's experiences are with local businesses. So, they are seeking out that information, but they're still doing business locally. So, this is important. When we get a little later in the presentation, we'll talk about, playing up the fact that you are a local business. That can be a really great benefit for you. So most of you are probably familiar with the search process. You probably do it every day, multiple times a day. But it's worth just kind of looking at objectively, because it's interesting because Google's looking at this process really objectively. The search process is, people have a question in mind, or they have something that they're interested in learning about, or they're looking for a particular product or service. They have something in mind. So they're typing in a search query, and they're browsing the results. They click on the most relevant result, or what they hope will be the most relevant result, and then a couple things could happen. They could either stay on that page because they're satisfied with what they found. They might navigate back to the search to select a different result because they didn't get what they find, or they didn't find what they wanted, or they refined their search using a new query. Maybe they've decided that the query they used wasn't doing it, so they refine their search, or they just give up. And so it's interesting to look at this process because, like I said, Google's looking at this very objectively. They're keeping track of this entire search process and all search processes that are happening at any given time, because each step of this process helps them determine the relevance and the importance of their search results. Every step is like a vote, for a particular site or page, and they kind of tally all those votes to find the winners, the sites that people tend to find, the content that they're looking for, or people, enjoy going to these particular sites. Google keeps track of all of this. So search engines, like I said before, they do have some limitations. They aren't quite at that point yet where they respond to your search queries with exactly the perfect thing that you were looking for. They are incredibly advanced, but they definitely have their limitations. First of all, they can't conduct searches themselves. So Google can't Google. They rely really heavily on links. That's how they get around. That's how they crawl the web. So if there are pages out there that have no links to them, Google is not going to find them. Secondly, they can't fill out forms. So anything that's behind a form, sometimes you go to a website and you have to put in your name and email address before you can access the information. Google can't do that. So, anything that's behind those forms is off limits. Google can only read text, so they can't tell what is in a picture. They can't see what's in flash animation, even though those are really nice things to have on your website, and they can add a lot to the design of your website. Google doesn't know what those things are, so they do rely on things like alt tags, which we'll get to in a little bit. To they're relying on you to tell them what's in a picture because they can't look at it themselves. And they also can't be subjective. You may have a really great website and it's really beautiful and it has a lot of great content, and you worked really hard to write all this great content, but Google can only see the data that fits into its algorithm and rank your page according to the factors that they've decided impact relevance and importance. So, but like I said, they are becoming more and more intelligent, and they're able to distinguish quality content more and more from, kind of spam content that you might see out there. But, again, it's kind of up to you to let Google know that, you have a website, and make sure that Google can crawl and index your page, and, promote your content yourself to other people so that, that popularity that you start to gain will be an indicator to Google that you do have a quality website, because Google can't see that, just by itself. So because search engines aren't perfect, that's why we have search engine marketing. If search engines were perfect, you wouldn't have to engage in any sort of search engine optimization or search engine marketing efforts, because the search engines would, already be able to tell that you had a great website. But, you need to, as it stands now, and probably always there will be some element of you have to, go through these steps and make your website, first of all, search engine friendly. You need to acquire and retain visitors, and you need to offer value. And I think that each step is equally important, and they're all interconnected, and each is critical for the success of your search engine marketing efforts and just your online presence in general. You have to go through each of these steps. You want to acquire visitors, so you want people to be able to find your site on. But in order to be found, you have to show up in search engine results. And to do that, you have to, make your site search engine friendly and show that you have something of value to offer. So it's just this, cycle. And you might be wondering where to jump in, or you might feel overwhelmed, like you just don't know where to start. And the answer is really, you can start anywhere, but just make sure that you're always, keeping an eye on each piece of the puzzle, because if you're focusing on just one thing at the expense of the others, you won't succeed, unfortunately. So two things I think are really important to keep in mind as you approach search engine marketing. I think probably the most important is, well, for some people, that you can't outsmart Google. Google is, like I said, a $192 billion company. They employ the best and the brightest people you'd ever hope to meet, and they're dedicated to constantly improving their algorithm and getting closer to their goal of providing users with the results that are most relevant to them. So it's a waste of your time to try and trick Google by stuffing your site with irrelevant keywords or purchasing backlinks, because even if you do enjoy short-term success with those, what we call black hat methods, Google will ultimately prevail, and you will lose any, gains that you've made by doing those kinds of tactics. And you may even, find yourself blacklisted. And this has happened to even large companies, like JCPenney recently had a big scandal where they had hired a SEO, company to help them improve the, the rankings of their website, and they claimed that they didn't know that the SEO company was using black hat tactics, and all of a sudden JCPenney was coming to the top of the results for all sorts of categories that they never had before, and it raised a red flag, and they were blacklisted for a certain amount of time. And so it happens even to big companies, and JCPenney has since made things right, and has regained their initial rankings, not the ones that they had achieved kind of artificially, but they now have an appropriate ranking again, so you can bounce back, but why bother? Just I would say it's a much better use of your time to kind of go about it the right way. It's a much better long-term strategy, and it's just a better investment of your time. Your time is money, and every minute that you spend putting into something that could just be taken away from you at any minute is a waste of time and money. So the second thing to keep in mind is that your ultimate goal is to provide value to those who visit your site. And you should always be keeping that in mind as you go along. There are, as I explained in the previous slide, there are three major parts to search engine marketing. There's, acquiring and retaining visitors, offering value, and making your site search engine friendly. And with every decision that you make along the way, you should be able to identify the value that you're passing along to your visitors, even if it's, indirect. For example, maybe you're creating a sitemap for, the search engines, so it doesn't, it's not clear what value that's adding to your visitors' lives. But, because you're participating and you're working with the search engines and you're playing by their rules, that's going to help, raise your page rank, and that's going to make your site more reputable, and, you're going to get more visitors. And so it's, at the end of the day, it's a benefit to you and to your visitors, and you should be always able to trace that value. So here are some terms that you should be familiar with. I've been kind of using search engine marketing and search engine optimization interchangeably, but there's a slight difference. I would say search engine marketing is the process of marketing your company through search engines. It can include SEO, but it can also include other things like promoting your content to increase your site's popularity. You know, just any steps that you're taking to get your site, you know, found. You want more visitors, getting your site to be more popular, all of that. That goes into search engine marketing. Search engine optimization is more for the search engines specifically. So you're optimizing your site to make it easier for the search engines to navigate. But most of the time, those steps also benefit the visitors. So here are a couple more terms to know. Title tags are really important. A title tag is HTML code that tells search engines and potential visitors what your page is about. In this example, the title tag is puppies, and the title tag is displayed in the search results, as you can see. So, you know, I'm searching for puppies. Here's a page called puppies. You know, perfect. And then I go to the site, and the title tag is also at the top of the page to remind me if I have multiple tabs open where I'm at. And then the meta description is kind of the longer description of the page's content. And it should be unique to that particular page. So if you have multiple pages on your website, or even sometimes, you know, people have hundreds of pages on their website, each page should have its own unique meta description. It should be descriptive and useful to the people who are deciding if your page will have what they need. So in the example that's shown, I can see that this page is about you know, how to buy puppies, how to choose the best puppies for you, where to buy puppies, how to care for puppies, and more. So this is an informative page. I can tell right away. I'm not going to expect to click on this page and be able to, you know, purchase a puppy online. I'm going to go to this page for information about puppies. So this is really useful to me, because if I was looking for a puppy to buy, maybe I would click on the link, you know, right above that one. So it's always a good idea to not waste your visitors or potential visitors' time. You know, people are in a hurry a lot of times. They want the information that they're looking for. They need an answer to a question. They're looking for a particular product or service. So, you know, make it clear right away what this page is about. You know, so this is a great example of a really descriptive, useful meta description, as opposed to something like, you know, visit my website now, or we have what you're looking for. Those are not really useful to me. It doesn't tell me what's on your page or what to expect, and I'm probably just going to, you know, go with another site. And like I mentioned before, so many people now are looking, you know, they're using search engines on their mobile phones, and they especially don't want their time wasted. They're looking on these, you know, tiny screens, and they're trying to navigate, and they're trying to find the answers, and they really don't want to click through to each page to find out, you know, what's it all about. They want to know right away. So create good meta descriptions. They should be no longer than 160 characters. And if they're longer than that, then Google will just, you know, cut off the excess, and they'll just, you know, they'll just show, you know, the first 160 characters. So make sure that that's something that you want people to see. Creating good meta descriptions will not directly impact your page rank, but it most likely will get more people clicking on your page, and that will increase your popularity, and that will increase your page rank. So it's not direct, but you know, it's still really important. An alt tag, as I mentioned before, is a description of an image. and this is useful for search engines. It's also useful for maybe disabled people who are using a screen reader to view a website, and so they want to know maybe what's in this picture, but they can't see it. So alt tag will tell them what's in it. So the alt tag can also be used by Google image search. So if you have an image with an alt tag of, puppy in a basket, and someone searches for that image using the related keywords, your image might show up in their results. So the title tag, meta description, and alt tags are all important parts of search engine optimization, and so are your URL structures and your sitemap. URL structures, are important to Google. They recommend creating search engine friendly URLs for your website, and this helps them, the search engines, as well as your visitors. So I have an example of a friendly URL. Contains just words that are descriptive about, what page am I going to. I can see it's emily.com/about. So, it's an about page. I can see that. An unfriendly URL is also shown there. It's just a long string of numbers and letters and symbols, and it's confusing to people. It's also not descriptive to the search engines, and you should always give your search engines as much information about your website as possible. So, at UniformMarket, our software includes a search engine friendly URL generator that creates these kind of neat, clean URLs for all of our pages. So this really, helps with people's search engine marketing efforts. Also, part of our software is sitemap creation. The sitemap is an important part of SEO. It gives the search engine crawlers instructions about how to navigate your site, where things are, how to get around. Again, search engine automated robots rely on these link structures. They can't just get to a page that isn't linked from anywhere. So they they rely on links to get from page to page, and these sitemaps show them the link structure so they know it's like, a guide map for them. So now we'll talk about keywords. Keywords are really important, and if you're not, super tech savvy or technical, this is something that you could probably do pretty easily because, it's just a matter of kind of putting yourself in the shoes of your customers or potential customers, people that are interested in the things that you have to offer, the products and services that you offer. And I think that one of the most difficult things about running a website is knowing that you have great content or you have great services or you have, great products, and knowing that there are people out there who are interested in what you have to offer, but you don't know how to connect with those people. And keywords can really help you bridge this gap. If you run an online uniform store and you sell scrub tops, keywords are the words that you think of or are relevant to that category of products. And hopefully these are the words that people are using in their search queries. So to come up with keywords that are relevant to your content, put yourself, again, in the mindset of your customer. So if you're selling scrub tops, maybe people are searching for medical shirt or hospital uniform. So you want to consider these possibilities and incorporate them into the text on your page and possibly in your meta description and title tags as well, if there's, if it seems appropriate or if there's room, so that people searching for these keywords can find what they're looking for. And it's important to use keywords in a natural way and avoid stuffing your pages with strings of keywords. Again, always consider what you're adding to a user's experience. You want to incorporate keywords so that they can find you, but if you're doing it in a way that looks spammy or it reads like gibberish, you're really not adding value to the user experience. So, here I have a great example of a useful category description. Let's say I have a store called Emily's Medical Uniforms, and here's my, lab coat category. This is where I have all my lab coats. A good description might be, Emily's Medical Uniforms offers a wide selection of lab coats from popular brands including Landau and Barco. These medical jackets include features like iPad pockets and antimicrobial fabrics. Choose from a wide range of sizes for both men and women. This is good because it incorporates several different keywords that people might be using. Landau and Barco, those are popular brands for people that sell medical apparel. I have the word lab coats because probably that's what people are going to be searching for most, but I also include medical jackets because, who knows, maybe somebody's Googling that. And, iPad pockets, that's a big search right now. They have, lab coats with iPad pockets, and doctors are using iPads, so it's a big search. Antimicrobial fabrics, that's always a huge keyword because people are, more and more concerned about that in a hospital setting. So this is, a good description, gold star. This is a bad one. So not very descriptive. You want it, we got it. Shop now, best prices, lab coats, medical jackets, consultation coat, ladies coat. I mean, it's just a string of words. It doesn't, it doesn't read nicely. It just, it's not nice to look at. It doesn't flow nicely, and it just seems unnatural, and it just seems kind of spammy. So, it's pretty obnoxious, but some self-proclaimed SEO experts will do exactly this. They'll stuff a page with keywords. Sometimes they'll even put hundreds of keywords at the bottom of a page, or even in invisible text, thinking that they might be able to, fool the search engines. They might even use unrelated keywords about weight loss or looking younger or popular celebrities to kind of try to hijack some of those search terms popularity. And I'm sure that you've seen this before, but it's definitely becoming less and less common because search engines have really cracked down on that kind of behavior, and it will do way more harm than good in the long run. Again, it doesn't add any value whatsoever to the user experience, and it's not going to be a good part of a long-term success strategy. So if you're struggling to think of what keywords to use, if you have kind of writer's block, you can take a look at what keywords competitors are using. Obviously you shouldn't be copying their wording, but it might give you an idea of a keyword that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So it can be useful to just see, the language that people in your industry are using. Pay close attention to the words that your customers use when they call you on the phone or they come into your store and they're asking for a particular product. What words do they use? Those are your customers. Those are the people that are looking for your products, and those are probably the same kind of people that are looking for your products online. So make sure that, if you hear somebody say something in a certain way, be sure to incorporate that wording into your site. Also use the Google AdWords keyword tool. It's free. Most of the Google products for businesses are free, and they are incredibly useful to people trying to, decide what kind of words to include on their sites. And you don't have to be a member of the Google AdWords program to use it, but you can just see the keyword tool here. You enter a word or phrase, so you can put in scrubs, nursing uniforms, and hospital apparel. Let's say those are like my best guesses of what my customers are searching for, and you just put in your website, and it'll show you the relevance of those keywords, how many people are searching for those, and what the competition is like. So, you look at scrubs, there are 4 million monthly searches for that word. And the competition is, medium. So that might be a good one. Although it's important to kind of think outside the box a little bit sometimes and consider that maybe the reason why the competition is low is because, there's a Scrubs television show, and, that might be a hard one to compete with if you're just a small uniform store. But you could go through, they'll show you the statistics about the keywords that you provide, but they will also give you great ideas of related keywords that you might not have thought of. So, plus-size nursing uniforms, this is a, search keyword that they recommend, or, one that they think is related to what you're maybe selling. So you can go through and see what are the, popular keywords. And again, this is free, and you don't have to use the AdWords tool, but you can take some of these if you think they're relevant to your business and incorporate them into your category descriptions, into your meta descriptions, anywhere, again, where it would be natural and it would be relevant. You can also use, they have a traffic estimator, so you can kind of see, maybe you would be interested in using their AdWords, the pay-per-click service. You can see how much it would cost for you to buy some of those keywords if you think that would be appropriate for you at this time. So, also be sure to use keywords that are related not just to your products, but also just to your business in general. Like I said before, if you have a local retail store, you can play that up by using keywords that are related to your geographic location. Because a lot of people are searching for, uniform store in Chicago, Illinois, and they want to find a local business. So make sure that you have your geographic location listed if you do have a retail store. Here's a way that you can incorporate that kind of naturally into your website. Here would be an About page paragraph. So, welcome to Emily's Medical Uniforms. We serve the medical industry of the Chicagoland area. Visit our scrub store. You see hospital apparel, Lincoln Park. So it's, you're hitting those major keywords that people might be searching for that are kind of related to what you do and where you are. Okay, now backlinks are a major topic that you've probably heard of a lot before, but things have really changed in the past couple of years related to backlinks. If you're not familiar with backlinks, they are links from somebody else's site to your site. So, here's someone else's site. They say, check out this link. It's a cool uniform site. And they click on it, and it takes them to your site, and there's some cool uniforms. And, for many years, search engines interpreted backlinks as being an indicator of a site's importance because people tend to share links to sites that they like and that they find useful, or at least that is the idea, and other people are influenced by this, and they're maybe more likely to visit a site that a trusted friend likes. People are more likely to buy from that site if they feel like it has a stamp of approval from somebody that they trust. So for a long time, search engines have placed a lot of importance on these backlinks, but because of that, a lot of people have abused backlinks to achieve a higher page rank. And maybe in the past you've seen pages that contain nothing but links, or maybe clicked on a link thinking that it was one thing and you were redirected to a really spammy site. And And these tactics are referred to as link bait or link spam. And because of these tactics, search engines have had to change how their algorithms interpret backlinks. And they've also lost a lot of their importance, which is too bad. But because of them being so heavily abused, that it was kind of a necessary step. But backlinks are still a really important part of search engine marketing. You just have to be careful of how you approach them. So there are still some good ways to get quality backlinks. First, your local chamber of commerce may offer a website where you could list your business, and that would serve as a backlink to your site. And it would also, people like to shop locally. They like to support their local businesses. So, you already have some trust there and some affinity for your business. So you can also get backlinks from business partners, perhaps, if you have a good relationship with, maybe there's a manufacturer that you work really closely with and you have a good relationship. They could possibly list your website on their website. A lot of times you'll see a manufacturer's website will have a section where they will list local stores that sell their products. So, and they'll also give a link to the local store's website. So that could be, an opportunity there. You can also, if you work with any organizations, maybe your company supports a local charity. Maybe in the past you would have your logo on a T-shirt, for a 5K that supports this charity. But, maybe now you could have a backlink to your site. That's also, really useful to you. You can participate in forums that are related to your industry. This is one to kind of be careful with because it's another one that has been, abused in the past. A lot of people spam these kinds of forums, but if you find one that's, good, it's reputable, there are real people on there asking questions, sharing information with each other. People within the same industry like to help each other out. So this might be a good opportunity for you. Just make sure, that you're not spamming the forum. You want to actually participate in a real way. So if there's a question that somebody asks and you have something to contribute to the conversation, feel free to share your thoughts, and also be sure to include your backlink when it's appropriate. Don't just throw in a bunch of links that are unrelated, but definitely you should take credit for the information that you give and give yourself a backlink. Trade publications are a great way to get backlinks. We have at UniformMarket a couple of different trade publications. We have Made to Measure magazine, which has been around for about 80 years or so. It's really well respected. It's the uniform magazine. It's the most important publication in the uniform industry. And we do have an online version of Made to Measure. And you can see the MadeToMeasureMag.com here. So you can see past issues. You can see advertising opportunities. If you want to advertise with Made to Measure, that would be a great way to get a backlink because, we do get a lot of visitors to Made to Measure magazine. We have, a lot of people subscribe to the magazine, and, so it's, again, really well respected, and people that are interested in what you have to offer are reading this magazine. So this is the perfect place for your backlink to be because it's actually, really relevant to your business. We also have UniformMarketNews.com, and this is, our news site where we have up-to-date stories, whereas Made to Measure comes out a couple times a year. UniformMarket News, we update daily, and you can see we have, different suppliers, manufacturers advertise with us, and it's a great way for them to get traffic to their site. So, and again, when they're getting, traffic to their site, that increases their popularity in the eyes of Google, and that increases their page rank. So, it's definitely, you definitely want to get the ball rolling with promoting yourself and promoting your business and promoting your content. And that brings me to my next point, which is that the best way to get backlinks is to create real and unique content. And this is something that Google recommends in their own webmaster blog, is to, think of what you have to contribute. And you may not realize how much you know or how much you have to contribute, but you would be really surprised. You can create a company blog, and I, for example, blog about uniforms, and I'm always amazed by how much traffic I get for certain blog posts that I wouldn't have thought would be so popular. But I've had blog posts where I've written about how to disinfect your medical scrubs, or how to get stains off of your chef coat, or topics like that that are really useful to people. But they also, I make sure in all my posts to include a backlink to a product page, or a category page that's related to what I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about how to get stains off of a chef coat, then I'll link to, my chef coat category. Or if I'm talking about, another popular one I had was how to recycle old uniforms. So, you might not realize, but a lot of uniform companies do offer eco-friendly uniform options. So even though, it's not directly related, it's still kind of the same idea. People are coming here wondering how to recycle, so they're interested in being eco-friendly. They want to know how to recycle their uniforms, what to do with all these uniforms that they have. And, they are also interested in learning about, when they buy their next uniform, what would be the most eco-friendly option. So, just be creative, and you can comment on things that are going on in the world, and just try to always relate it to your site and to your products. And we'll actually be talking more about blogging in our next webinar, but it's definitely one of the best ways to get backlinks and to increase your popularity. The next thing you could do is create videos. It's really not that hard to create good quality videos now. A lot of people's phones have video cameras that are pretty good quality, and I'm sure you have a digital camera that has even better video quality. But you can use video to show off features of a new jacket that you're selling. You can pour a glass of water on it to show off its waterproofing. You can show how quickly you can zip in a liner into the jacket, or just get creative. Again, people are looking for this kind of stuff, and people love to watch videos. So videos are always incredibly popular, and people tend to share them with their own friends. So that's also really important with search engines now. Is it's not just about one person clicking on your link 100 times. People in the past maybe had a friend or somebody try to click on our link as many times as possible to increase its popularity or make it seem more popular. But now that's getting harder to fake. But search engines really place a lot of importance on people like genuinely interacting with your content, sharing it with their friends, watching it, looking at it for an extended period of time. So it's really important. Press releases are also a great way to create backlinks for your company. You can write a press release about, maybe you have a new store manager, or you're opening a new in-store location, or you have a a brand new website and you just love how it looks, and or you're having an in-store event or something like that, or really anything. You can, again, get creative. You might not think that you have a lot of newsworthy items to share, but just brainstorm a little bit, and you can definitely think of some great things to write a press release about, and it doesn't have to be long or beautifully written. It just has to be information about what's going on at your company, and put a backlink in there. So that's pretty much it for creating quality content. And again, we will be talking more about blogging in our next webinar. Just to wrap up, again, this webinar is sponsored and promoted by the TRSA and also UniformMarket, and we build e-commerce sites for our clients. And these sites offer high-quality apparel, footwear, and accessories. And a big part of our business is helping clients with their SEO and search engine marketing strategies. We help with social media if that's something that our clients need help with or advice about. Or we can really help out in any way that our customers need help. We're dedicated to their success, and we think that these types of things, self-promotion, are really important. So if you are interested in learning more, feel free to contact us or just visit our website, UniformMarket.com. And that's all I have for you. So I guess I'll open it up to some questions.
Hi, this is Lee from UniformMarket. Emily, thank you for that informative talk about search engine marketing. I just wanted to add that people can go to the UniformMarket website, and there is information about search engine marketing and search engine optimization and the services that we provide. I think you answered all the questions that did come up during the webinar, and no one has raised one afterwards. So I just want to thank everyone for attending, and Emily, once again, thank you for a very informative talk.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, and hopefully everybody will be present for our next webinar. Again, we're going to be talking about blogging, so that should be fun and very informative. So thank you so much, and have a great day.